Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA with me, Seamus Brady and Luke Peyton. In this video, we are going to be giving our instant reaction and match review of the first ever Tailteann Cup Final, a match that Cavan were favourites, but Westmeath came out on top in a scoreline of 1-13 to Cavan, Westmeath-2-14. We're just going to give our full match preview and reaction, but before we do, please like, subscribe, share and comment. It really helps us out, and let's crack on with this video. So Luke, the first ever Tailteann Cup Final, as I mentioned. First of all, what did you make of the atmosphere in the ground? What did you make of the kind of vibes and what the competition has been this year so far and in total?
Yeah, but look, overall, I think it's shown promise. I think, look, it is going to be improved next year with the new structures. Like, the structures this year were a bit kind of like thrown together, and but we knew that coming in as well. We knew that it wasn't going to be perfect straight away. But look, it's shown promise. And then you see the scenes at the end, kind of for Westmeath, where they're genuinely delighted to have won that, and that look, there was joyous enough scenes there at the end as well, and that it actually clearly does mean things to players as well. And look, to win a national championship in Croke Park as well, look, it's a big deal. And yeah, overall, I thought it was a good occasion. It was a good spectacle as well of a match, and look, a decent enough crowd got in. I know, look, a lot of empty seats as well because Derry and Galway wouldn't come in for that, but that look, it was overall, I do think it was a big success, and that yeah, look, it obviously means an awful lot to Westmeath and their players and their fans and everything as well to have a big day out in Croke Park and to win a national competition.
Oh yeah, without doubt. And a curveball question for you: the coverage before the game, we heard news that Pat Spillane would be leaving the Sunday game panel at the end of the year, and he incredibly managed to say "you bollocks" on the broadcast before, and you see Joanne Cantwell nearly heart dropped out of her mouth. What do you make of him leaving, and do you think he'll be a miss?
Yeah, look, he's anytime you lose a character, kind of, it will be a miss. And that, look, I do think that people like to look back fondly. Like, you look at the soccer coverage, and everyone would miss Dunphy and they'd miss Giles and all that kind of era as well. And I think, look, it'll be the same in Gaelic, that in a few years, I think people will be saying that, like, bring back the days of Brolly and Spillane and all this and that. Look, yeah, that they drive people mad, and that, like, everything they say is divisive and it splits opinion everywhere as well. But you kind of need that, and that with telly, kind of, you're not there to kind of just be boring or just to kind of play it safe as well and stuff. So I do think that, look, he'll be a bit of a loss as well. He drives me mad most of the time, but still, he's a character. And yeah, look, unfortunately, I think a lot of the stuff in the telly is kind of removing characters from these positions, and it's more kind of safer choices as well. So, well, look, we'll see how it goes. But I think long term it will be a loss.
Yeah, sadly, I agree. I think that when you look at Joe Brolly and the way he was got rid of, Gerald Nan is another one that's interesting, how he just disappeared off the air. It's people that pour their heart out into the game, and it's one of these things that when there's debate, you're doing something right, and that draws in figures, that draws in numbers. So I think the ratings will be a bit lower because Spillane always brought a debate around. And look, I think he will be a loss. Anyway, back to the game. So it was a great start. I mean, there were some lovely points, particularly Paddy Lynch scored a gorgeous one with his first touch of the ball, really. Hawkeye was needed. I don't know why. It clearly was over for me. But then let's get to the first key moment. Of course, in the 19th minute, Jared Smith hit a point to make it 5-4. Then Ronan O'Toole levelled immediately. He was amazing in the first half. He got man of the match overall. Then Gerard McKiernan put Cavan back in front, and then Ronan O'Toole replied immediately to that as well. So in the space of about 90 seconds, we've had 4 points going down either way. That just shows how open the game was in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, look, the first half, it at the start anyway, kind of started slower enough anyway that both teams kind of a bit cagey at the start. And then, yeah, look, there was that period when they went score for score. And at Westmeath as well, in particular at the time when Ronan O'Toole was kind of able to kick scores as well. Kind of, he was nearly unmarked for a little period in that first half, and he kicked 4 in the first half. But yeah, so there was a lot of space kind of for him as well. But it was a good spell into the game where both sides were well able to kick scores. Paddy Lynch and McKiernan, I suppose, were the best for Cavan at it. And then, yeah, look, O'Toole kind of really lit up the first half as well. And look, he then had a huge part into the Luke Loughlin goal as well that soon came after.
Yeah, without doubt. And of course, we'll talk about that goal. 27th minute, Luke Loughlin, of course, questionable. Did he touch that on the ground? It was a pass directly into him. I think it was from Jonathan Lynham. Loughlin kind of catches it, but then falls onto the ground, flicks it. If he's on the ground or not, I actually am unsure. And then on to Lorcan Dolan, who puts it off the ground straight into the top corner. Brilliant finish. And that put Westmeath in front 1-6 to 8 points. For you, was it a touch on the ground from Luke Loughlin?
I don't know, because the thing with the rule is that if you control the ball and it touches the ground, then it's you're not playing it on the ground if you have control of the ball. So I thought it was fine, to be honest. And like, yeah, it's one of those awkward enough ones, and there's a clear striking action as well. So I wouldn't. I think it's fine. Yeah, and that look, it was in the category of could have been given, but like I think it would have been harsh as well. And yeah, look, I wouldn't really have much of an issue with it.
Yeah, it looked a bit weird, but I'd be happy enough to let it go. The sides then went in at halftime. Cavan 9 points, Westmeath 1-8. Paddy Lynch and another beauty. The first score that Cavan had in 10 minutes, interesting enough, just before halftime. Then in the second half, it started with Sam McCartan nailing a 45. Then Cavan responded with 2 points on the bounce from Stephen Smith and Jason McLaughlin. Luke Loughlin got a point after a bad Raymond Gelligan kick out. And then the next score was Cavan's goal. In the 52nd minute, Porg Faulkner pouncing on the loose ball after James Smith shot for a point dropped short. At this point, the way that the game had gone, did you think at this point Cavan were going to kick for home?
Yeah, look, and I suppose they might have done had the red card not happened, and that like the pattern of the game was suggesting that they might do. And look, the red card did ultimately shift that back to Westmeath as well. So yeah, I do think that was probably the deciding factor in the game, and like probably look a moment of madness, I suppose, from Galligan, and then and that look that was essentially to win the game. Obviously, Westmeath were fantastic after the red card, but if Cavan maintained the 15 on the field, and look, it was their best player that got sent off as well. The fact that that circumstance happened, look, that was a big factor in winning the game, like ultimately.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think Faulkner was excellent. He deserves a mention. He like defensively and then scoring the goal. Thought Killian Brady did a good job on John Heslin. David Lynch as well did a fantastic job on Gerard McKeon, and he stuck with him throughout the entire game. And he was a weird matchup. I wouldn't have predicted that, but he did a very good job. Of course, you mentioned about that red card for Thomas Galligan. I think it was fair by today's standards. I think if you were to rewind the game 15 years ago, he doesn't go off for that. I think that's a yellow card in 2006. But in the modern game, any collision like that, which could lead to a serious head injury, it's a red card, and every player knows this now. So you can't really make excuses for him. And to be fair to Galligan, he didn't necessarily make that much of a fuss about it. He kind of knew that he deserved to go for it. And then on top of that, Kieran Martin and Jerry Egan, two huge scorers for Westmeath over the last 2 years. They both get introduced a minute after Galligan gets sent off. And then, of course, we all know Kieran Martin will come to the goal after. But those two subs straight after Thomas Galligan gets sent off, that definitely swung momentum back to Westmeath.
Yeah, look, and they wrestled control back after that. And look, McCartan kicked a great score as well. And that, yeah, they just seemed to, they got a lot of energy from that as well. And yeah, look, especially Kieran Martin, like it was an absolutely stunning goal. And that the strength to power through about 5 players as well. Then to finish top corner with the left foot as well. And he absolutely blasted home. Like it was, Alec was fitting way for that to end. And look, that was the score that won it essentially, really. And yeah, just after all of his service for Westmeath throughout the years, like it was a fitting kind of winning goal.
Agreed. It was just pure power. And for a guy who's had such bad luck with injuries, I was delighted for him to see that go into the back of the net and to see him be the hero to really kind of drive it home for Westmeath, because he's a class footballer. Like I remember him just tearing me apart in that second half back in 2015, 2016, I think it was. And then, of course, though, we could be talking about a completely different outcome here. 72nd minute, long ball in from Cavan. James Smith breaks it down, falls to Conor Madden. What a block down by Kevin Maguire, jumping across Conor Madden. That could have denied pretty much a sure thing for a goal for Cavan, which would have brought them back level. And then, who knows where the game would have gone from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was, look, I think, everyone initially thought it was the keeper, but it was some block by Maguire as well in the end. And it looked like it was slipping past the keeper as well. So, look, that was a key moment. And Yeah, it was kind of fitting, I thought, as well, in that, look, I think Westmeath probably played a better style of football, I thought, as well. They moved the ball quicker than Cavan, and yeah, I thought they just showed more energy in the day as well. So look, they got the break there at the end. They got the bit of luck as well, and yeah, look, essentially, I think they're well deserving of their win, and some really good players in that team, and yeah, look, it's a huge result for Westmeath, and look, for them to have, and for Leinster as well, I suppose, that like after all the kind of the attention that Leinster football gets as well, and the criticism it gets, for a team to win a national championship outside, not being Dublin, look, it's a big deal for Leinster.
Agreed. Yeah, that's actually a great point, because like the amount of shit that Leinster gets for only having one team, it's not the rest of the county's fault that Dublin have been so strong for the last 10 years. But yeah, Westmeath are Tailteann Cup champions for 2022, the inaugural Tailteann Cup champions. We're just about now to head in to watch the Derry versus Galway semi-final, so we can't wait for that as well. Make sure you check out our match review for that as well. That's the video, guys, here on Play on GAA. Westmeath Tailteann Cup champions, beating Cavan by 2-14 to 1-13. Enjoy the game between Derry and Galway, and until the next one, guys, take care.